Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of Me Made May. My name is Sarah and I live in Melbourne, Australia with my 2 children, and I'm a music teacher. In this video, I'll be sharing what I've been wearing each day, and I'll also do a bit of a roundup at the end of the video on the sorts of things I've been knitting and sewing during the week. I decided to do this video slightly differently to my first week of Me Made May, mainly because I still haven't even edited that one, and there was only 4 days in that video. So I feel like just sharing what I'm wearing each day and then at the end sharing a bit of a roundup of what I've done will help me to stay on top of being able to manage putting out these videos. So I hope you enjoy it. So today is Monday. I've been to work, I've just got home, and it was a very warm day. The forecast was for 25 degrees here. This has not happened since I've started doing Me Made May a couple of years ago. It is very unusual for us to get this kind of weather, and it's very confusing. I keep forgetting what time of year it is. I keep thinking we're going into summer, whereas we're actually coming out of it, and we should have come out of it a little while ago. So it's very unusual and very weird to be wearing such summery clothes at this time of year. So today I've worn an Agostina boxy top. So this is a pattern by fabricstore.com, and I made this in a cotton sateen that I got from Dupes Designs. This fabric, it used to be a dress. You might have seen me wearing it. You might have seen me talking about it in my Sew Frugal plans, because I cut up this dress that I was never wearing and I turned it into a top, and it has had so much wear already. Definitely worth the refashion on this one. It's a really, really comfortable top. It's a really simple shape. It's got grown on sleeves with a cuff and then binding at the neckline. And I've teamed this with a pair of pants that don't get very much wear, and that is the Pomona pants by Anna Allen. I've made these in a black linen that I got from Spotlight, and the version I've made, I've put one patch pocket at the back, and that's it. So this particular pants pattern doesn't have side seams, so there's not that opportunity to put side seam pockets in, and there are options to put patch pockets either at the front or the back. So just one on the back for me. I have to say, the pants are really comfortable. I was definitely comfortable all day. I did miss the pocket a little bit. I do find myself reaching for pockets just in the way I stand. The fact I didn't have pockets wasn't a massive inconvenience, but I did notice that I often reach for them. And I just wore this with some slides. I do feel like the whole overall look is a little bit too baggy, and I'd prefer probably the pants to be a bit more tapered. The photo that I put on Instagram, I probably liked it the best because it does make the pants look a little bit more tapered, whereas they are actually quite wide-legged. So that was an interesting takeaway from the day. I already know that work pants is one of those things that I just don't feel like I have in my wardrobe. I've got a couple of pairs of ready-to-wear ones that I do wear, but they're just not comfortable. They're quite low rise. I don't like where they sit on my belly, and I would prefer to have high-waisted ones and much more comfortable. So pants are on my list of things to make soon. I did take my Marlowe sweater to wear, but I really didn't need it today. It was warm all day. It's still warm. It feels like summer outside. It is past 5:30 now. And yeah, I think it's going to be quite a warm night. It's going to be warm again tomorrow as well. So who knows how long this warm weather will last, but that's me on Monday, the 5th of May. Hi everyone, it's the 6th of May now, and I'm just home from work. It was so warm today, ridiculous, very confusing, strange kind of feeling being so warm. So it was 26 degrees today. It's still 25. It's almost 5 o'clock. I didn't even need to take any kind of layer today because the morning was very warm too. I started at work early. I had a 7:20 a.m. rehearsal and it was already 19 degrees. So yeah, easy one thing to throw on today, and that was the Lyra shirt dress by Tilly and the Buttons. I made this one last year, and the fabric I used is from Dupes Designs, which was printed to order. This one is a tencel twill, and I am so happy with the pattern match and the fabric I chose for this particular dress. So the Lyra dress by Tilly and the Buttons is just buttoned up to the waist. There's a waist seam and then it's attached to a skirt. You can do 2 different sleeve lengths. I've obviously made the short one. And then with the skirt, you can choose whether you want to have tiers or not. For me personally, I just have the one skirt piece, but I lengthened it to as long as the fabric would allow. So for me, this one is around my mid-calf length, which is perfect for work, and I'm really, really happy with it. I wear it a lot. I was not expecting to be able to wear it in May, but there you go. It's got nice deep pockets, and I was just really comfortable doing all the things I needed to do all day. Sometimes I do like to do the buttons up all the way to the top for that kind of look, but today I had it open, just nice and relaxed. So it was a very comfortable day 6. It's Wednesday now, the 7th of May, and we finally got some cooler weather. It was still pretty warm overnight, and then we reached our maximum of around 19 degrees at around 10 o'clock this morning, and it's been colder since then. So it's quite a nice change, especially the fact that we're going to have cooler nights, which will make it a little bit easier to sleep. But today I have worn an Anna Allen double. So I've got the Anthea blouse on top, and I've got the Pomona pants on again. And I took a layering piece today, but I didn't really wear it, to be honest. So that was the Holiday Slipover by Petite Knit. So the Anthea blouse is quite a simple blouse pattern. It's got these really large puffy sleeves that I really love. And there's 2 different lengths. This one is the shorter length version, and there's one that goes below the elbow as well. And the fabric I've used for this, I think it's a lightweight cotton, or it might be a lightweight linen cotton blend. And the designer of this fabric is Gabriella Larios. I absolutely love this fabric. The colors and the designs are just really, really pretty and have a lot of interest. So this is definitely one of those tops that I feel like it's wearable art. And I think it's just a really nice one for people to look at and admire. And then with my pants, I don't love my Pomona pants as a work pant, but I went for comfort today and they are absolutely comfortable. So that's what I wore. So I tucked the front of my Anthea shirt in and had the back free. And yeah, I was really comfortable. So I had quite a busy day of teaching. When I went outside though, I was quite cold, but I was mainly inside all day with back-to-back classes. You can probably hear the wind outside. It's quite cold and windy now. My children are with their dad tonight, so I am hoping that I can make some progress on cutting out a pattern. I have bought the Quinn pattern by True Bias, and my plan is to make View A, which is the short vest. And I have cut out the paper pattern pieces, and that's it. So tonight I'm hoping to cut out the actual fabric pieces of that, and also of the Audrey dress by Veronica Tucker patterns. So I've got quite a large piece of denim from Spotlight, and I'm hoping I've got enough to cut out the dress and the vest, but I'm actually going to make the vest first. So hopefully I'll get time to do that cutting. Tomorrow is a really big day for me at work. I start with a before school rehearsal, so I leave the house usually before 7 o'clock. My rehearsal starts at 7:30, and then I've got a parent-teacher interview in the evening, which goes till 8 o'clock. I'm one of the lucky teachers who had the very last slot booked in, the first and the last. So from 4 o'clock to 7:51 is my last interview. So I won't get home till quite late tomorrow night, and then I'll have the children with me. And then I'll have the children with me all weekend as well. So hoping to make the most of my free time tonight, because I know there's not going to be a whole lot more of it this week. And I will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Hello again, everyone. It's now Sunday, and this is the first night I have been at home without my children with me, and so I just haven't had the opportunity to get on and talk to you again. So I'm now going to go back to Thursday, and then for the rest of the week, talk through each of the outfits from then. So Thursday was the coolest day we've had this month so far. So I was very excited to get to wear my new Glow Hair Frost shawl that I finished last weekend. So this is a pattern by Stephen West, and it was his Hyber knit along put out at the end of last year. And I knit mine in a kit that I got from a New Zealand store called Get Flocked. I absolutely love it. I loved wearing it. I had so many lovely comments on Thursday. So I decided to team the vest with an Agnes top. This is a pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, and I've made a few of these. I do really like the shape of this one with the ruching on the sleeves to make them quite puffy. And then this is a really quite low cut top for me and very fitted. It's not one that I would ever feel comfortable wearing really anywhere without another layer on top. So this one I like to team with a York Pinafore by Helen's Closet. And I think this helps me to find that really happy place where I get to enjoy those voluminous sleeves. I've got that nice fitted silhouette down the body, but it's not too revealing because then I've got the pinafore over the top. And the fabric I used for this Agnes top was just from Spotlight. It's a jersey from Spotlight, and it's kind of in a teal color with little pink and white flowers all over it. So I thought that would go really nicely with my shawl. The York pinafore that I wore on Thursday is made from a really beautiful black corduroy, and it's quite a wide wale corduroy. And I think I got this from Wattle Hill Fabrics. So the York pinafore is a pattern I wear constantly throughout the cooler months, and I love this black one. It's a little bit longer than the blue one, although I used the exact same pattern pieces. Maybe the blue one has shrunk a little bit in the wash, and maybe I haven't washed the black one as many times. It might even just be a better quality, so it's not shrinking. And it's also a heavier weight one than my blue one. So it's really, really good for cooler days. And then I wore it with tights and boots. I didn't really have the shawl on when I was teaching. I don't need it. I'm warm when I'm teaching, but when I was at my desk in meetings, I'd have the shawl on. And then I was at work till quite late on Thursday night because we had parent-teacher interviews. So it was really nice to have that extra layer there as well. So yes, always a thrill to get that first wear out of a new knitted item when it's taken you a long time. And yeah, I was very pleased to have had lots of compliments on it as well. Friday was again relatively cool, and I took the opportunity to wear my new patina blouse. So I hadn't actually sewn the buttons on this blouse until Thursday night because I don't really have the motivation when I can't picture myself wearing a particular item. It's hard to find the motivation to finish those last steps. But I decided I wanted to wear it on Friday. So Thursday night, once the boys were in bed, I stayed up and I sewed the buttons on. Now, I think I mentioned in last week's video that for that pattern, I decided I was just going to sew the buttons all the way through the placket. I haven't got functioning buttonholes down the front, but I do obviously need them on the cuffs. So I only had to put my 2 buttonholes on that one. And I actually did the buttonholes last weekend, but I just hadn't sewn the buttons on. I do find it a little bit difficult to sort of line up exactly where I'm going to put the buttons on the cuffs. When I put it on Friday morning for the first time, I thought, oh gosh, this left one, it's quite a bit looser than the right one. I didn't have time to fix it on Friday morning, but I thought, oh, I'll fix it another time. I'll wear it today, see how I go with it. But interestingly, and just by fluke, because I had my watch on my left hand, once I put my watch on, that extra room in the cuff made it feel absolutely perfect. I didn't feel uncomfortable or like they were mismatched at all. You know, that kind of odd feeling if they're not quite the same. They actually felt pretty much exactly the same. So that was just a really happy, lucky accident. And yeah, I really enjoyed wearing this top. So this top I've made in an embroidered linen from Etsy. I bought it from a shop on Etsy, and I will link it in the description below. And it's quite a weighty linen, so quite a wintry kind of fabric. And it's got these beautiful embroidered flowers on it. So it looks like wattle and lavender. I can't remember what else. So this one worked out really well. I did last year make another patina blouse by Friday Pattern Company, and I made it in a viscose in a size large. So my body measurements put me in Friday Pattern Company around a large to extra large, maybe closer to the large. And I do find that the Friday Pattern Company patterns, sometimes different sizes will suit me. So for example, I've made a size large in the Hughes dress, which was far too small across the bust, and then I made an extra large which only just fit, and then other things like this one I ended up making a medium, and that was a much better fit for me. So when I made the large patina blouse last year, the shoulder seams were off the shoulders, and then the neck was a little bit too low, or I'd have to sort of lift it up to feel like I was more comfortable, and then the back would end up too low. So just not a good fit in general. I still do wear that top, but just not my favorite fit. So the medium for this one worked really, really well. I'm much more happy with the V-neck, and I'm much happier in particular with where the shoulders are sitting. So very happy with that. I wore this with my Tiama skirt, which is a pattern by Caledonia Dreamin'. I wore this one last week as well. So this one's had a couple of wears now this month, and it's made from a fabric called Dandy Velvet by Atelier Brunette. And then again with tights and boots. So I felt really comfortable in this outfit. It was fun to wear my new top, And that sums up the working week. Yesterday, Saturday, I wore a variation of what I wear pretty much every Saturday in this kind of weather. My favorite, most comfortable, ready to wear black jeans. And then I wore an Agostina boxy top made from a linen from Dupes Designs. And then my trusty Marlowe sweater, which I've made in a brushed cotton sweater knit from My Design. And I made the long version of that. So I pretty much wear my jeans and that Marlowe sweater most Saturdays and then just mix up whatever top I'm wearing. It's a really, really comfortable outfit. It looks good. I can head to the shops or wherever I need to go. And I'm still comfortable at home as well because the jeans are fitted, but they're not really tight around the waist. So I don't feel like I want to take them off when I'm at home, which I do right now with the ones I'm wearing today. So I'll get to that soon. Yesterday was a pretty casual day. I took one of my children to his guitar lesson. We walked to our local shopping centre. It was an absolutely beautiful day. Did some chores there and then spent a lot of time at home as well. So a very relaxed outfit for a relaxed day. But yeah, as I said, this outfit, even though it's very comfortable, I feel like it's perfectly presentable and smart looking for heading out. The Agostina top is also the pattern that I made on Monday. So it's a free pattern by fabricstore.com. And the one I wore yesterday was the one that I made for So Frugal 2024. So that brings us to today, Sunday, the 11th of May, and it's Mother's Day here, and I've had an absolutely beautiful day with my family. Now, my 10-year-old son plays soccer every Sunday, and usually the matches are between 9 and 11 a.m. starting time. And unfortunately for us, this week, his match was scheduled for 12 o'clock. So that meant he wasn't able to join me and my 8-year-old for the family lunch that we attended down on the Mornington Peninsula. So that was a shame. So I did take both of my boys out for breakfast this morning so that my older one wouldn't feel too left out and upset. And that seemed to do the trick. So the forecast for today was again absolutely stunning. 23 degrees, sunny skies, very light winds, just perfect weather. So I decided to wear my Nell blouse, which is another Tilly and the Buttons pattern, and I made this last year. So this pattern has quite a number of views. You can make it as a dress, you can make it as a blouse, which I've done, and there are different options for how you want to do the sleeves and also the closures. So as you can see, I've done the tie closures. These are actually just faux ties. These are not functional at all. I haven't put buttons underneath or anything. There's plenty of room for this one to slip over my head. So I've just sewn the whole placket down and I take this one over my head to put it on and off. This fabric is just a really light cotton from Spotlight. And then I've done the puffball sleeves, I think they were called, which have a lining, and I've just used a plain quilting cotton that I had in my stash to do that one. So I've worn this just with some straight leg jeans, which are a little bit tight, and I will be taking them off as soon as I finish this video. But I really, really love this top for this kind of occasion. Being Mother's Day, I wanted to wear something quite feminine and pretty, and I think this top really does tick the boxes on that. Very comfortable. It was lovely to be able to wear such a lightweight top in May, so I took full advantage of it and got some lovely photos outside as well with my family. My son was very obliging and took lots of photos of me as well, which I was really, really grateful for. So we had a lovely day. So that sums up all of my outfits for the week, but I also did get a little bit of sewing and knitting done this week as well, so I'll share that with you now. So I have been working on some team colour beanies for my son's soccer team, trying to make one for me and one for a friend, and I have almost finished the first one. I am still going to add a pom-pom, but most of the knitting is done, so I'll show you. I think it looks pretty cute. I've just left the strings there in case I want them for attaching the pom-pom later. But this is the retro style beanie by Brendan, who is Knit Wits and Yarns. I always forget that one. I'm pretty sure it's Knit Wits and Yarns, and it is such a quick knit because it's knit with 8-ply wool but held double on 8mm needles. So really, really fast. My mum brought over the double pointed needles that I'd ordered the other day. So that night, I think I just finished it up. It was really, really quick and easy. So I've started on the next one now as well. This one I'm going to do with the blue rim and then blue body and then a little white stripe, a big band of yellow, another white stripe, and then more blue. Hopefully I've got enough of this wool. I've got one more ball of it. We'll see how we go, because yeah, it's quite, because you're holding it double, it does use quite a bit. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this pattern. Really, really easy, really fun to knit. And I think that's gonna look really cute on the side of the soccer field. Maybe next week it will be cold enough to wear it. Definitely wasn't today. And then before the lunch that we had this morning, I did pop into Mum and Dad's house. Mum's got a Swift and ball winder. So I took some skeins of yarn that I got delivered last week and wound them up. So I'm ready to start my next project. So here they are. So as a reminder, these are for the Nordic Bloom Vest by Caitlin Hunter of Boylan Knitworks. And I'll put a photo in obviously of what that is. But my main color is going to be this green, and then the color work flowers will be in this off-white. And that feels lovely. So I'm really excited to work with that. And I have got some sewing done this week as well. I was very, very motivated and started the Quinn Vest by True Bias Patterns. So this one is currently on sale. I think it was 25% off, but I might be wrong. So I snapped that up and I got it printed at Officeworks this week, and I cut out View A, which is the short vest. And I'm using a denim that I got from Spotlight a couple of weeks ago. It's the smelly one, if you remember me talking about that in a previous video. It does still smell, hopefully it'll wash out. But I managed to cut this out, and I also cut out the Audrey dress by Veronica Tucker Patterns. So that one is just cut in pieces at the moment. It's not even cut properly, but I know I do have enough of the fabric left over to do that. And I've started on this vest. And I'm pretty close to finishing it. So True Bias put out this week, each weekday this week, they put out a little sew along video, and I've been watching them. They are so good, so clear, so helpful. And yeah, they've just helped me just fire along with it. So as you can see, there's the front. Got its facing in there. I haven't hemmed it, so my only things left to do is add the hem. I've pinned the binding into the armhole at the moment, so I've got to sew around the armholes, and then it will be buttonholes, buttons, and then the back has this little tie feature, so I need to get a little buckle for that. And I'll be finished. So hopefully I'll pop into Spotlight one afternoon after work this week and pick up the buttons and the little buckle that I need to finish that, because yeah, there's not much sewing left to go. And yeah, hoping to get somewhere out of that one, seeing how I can style it. But yeah, it's been a really, really fun pattern to sew up. I would definitely recommend it, and definitely recommend watching those sew along videos if you're someone who benefits from watching a demonstration, which I definitely do. So plans for this week, finish that. That's number one. Potentially cast on my vest, definitely continue on my beanie knitting, and maybe start the Audrey dress as well by Veronica Tucker. My week isn't too busy this week. I don't think I've got any evening commitments apart from looking after my children. But then next week they're with their dad on the weekend. So that gives me quite a bit of free time. So we'll see. I might get a lot of that done. It really often depends on the weather and whether I want to get out and about. But yeah, so that sums up my week of what I wore and what I worked on. So thank you very, very much for joining me today. I hope you've had a great week. And if you've celebrated Mother's Day, I hope it's been a really lovely one for you. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.